Good morning, dear ones. How are you today? I missed talking to you yesterday. I was just not feeling great still. So I'm happy to be back today and chat for a few minutes. I did something the other day that was felt really good. It was very refreshing, very refreshing for my soul. And what I did was I apologized to someone. And I wanted to talk about apologies for a minute. When you start really trying to be loving and kind, and when you genuinely start trying to care about other people, you will have, very quickly you'll realize how often you fall short at it. And the longer you try and the more consistently you try, you'll get better and better over time, but you'll never live up. Kind of the great thing about this journey is that you're never done. There's always more to learn, always more to do, always more to try. But you know, the bad thing about that is that you're never done. There's always more to learn. You'll never try. There will always be times, many times, when you just fall short for whatever reason. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. But I felt like I had. I misunderstood a situation slightly, and the other day, and I felt like I owed someone a public apology because it had been a public incident, and so I apologized publicly to this person, and it felt really good to do that. In this particular situation, I was not 100% wrong. I was maybe 80 or 75% wrong. But it's so easy in those cases to think, well, I don't need to apologize. I'm not going to apologize because he did such and such and such, or well, she was blah, 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 blah. But I found that is not a healthy or happy way to live. What I found is a happy way to live is when I am wrong, which happens all the time, to just try to own it. And if I'm 25% wrong, then I try to own that 25% wrong. And if I'm 70% wrong, I try to own that. I don't get it right all the time, but that's the great thing with apologies, is you can keep making them. And so there's this wonderful, ideally we just always act in a way that's consistent with our highest values, and we never make any mistakes, but we all know that's not reality. So we have this wonderful thing to change, right? We have this wonderful way of changing. I think there's I've read, there's a Greek word, I think, repent, which is an interesting word, but I believe it's from a Greek word from what I understand, and it just means to change. And I really like that idea. One of the classic tales that we hear a lot about this time of year is Ebenezer Scrooge, The Christmas Carol. It's about a man who changed and became better and different, and apologies are the first step in that. It's really hard to apologize sometimes. Like, it's crazy how hard it can be. I feel like the harder it is to apologize, the more that's a sign that we have a lot of internal pride and inflexibility, and that we care too much about how we are perceived, perhaps. Whereas when we apologize freely and easily, I think it tells us that we are genuinely trying, we're genuinely sincere about wanting to be our best, wanting to be our best with others, but also just regarding ourselves. So apologies are really powerful. The other thing I will say is that they're very good medicine for the person who apologizes. I think regardless of whether someone accepts it or forgives you or not, the act of apologizing itself is powerful. It's good medicine, I think, for you, for your soul. Strategically, tactically, for my younger followers, teenagers, I have a lot of kids, and many of my children during their teenage years could not, just under any circumstances, ever acknowledge any wrongdoing. They would never apologize to me or their mom. One of my children, however, apologized easily and quickly, and he didn't like it. Like, sometimes, like at first, he would do it very kind of grudgingly. I'm sorry. But he got better at it. He practiced over time. And here's the secret. It is hard to the point of almost impossible to seriously reprove or discipline someone who is continually apologizing. So I, talk to my child. I'd be like, hey, listen, buddy, you did such and such and such. And I was ready to go into a full knockdown, drag out parent-teenager conflict. And he'd say, I'm sorry. And I'd be like, well, you really got to remember that. And he'd be like, I'm so sorry. And, he said, I'm sorry once or twice. Maybe, if he did something really that upset us 2 or 3 times, and it was done. Like, if someone's genuinely sorry, you just can't keep being mad at them. So just telling you, it's a very good habit to do to keep you out of trouble. But it's also just really good for your soul. So I will probably make another apology tomorrow. I will keep making apologies. I apologized this morning, but it's a wonderful thing to do. It frees you, regardless of what the other person does or doesn't do. It frees you up, and it's a sign that you're really trying. So anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'm just sending you so much love. I think you're wonderful, and I want you to know that, and I want you to feel that. So I'll talk to you later. Love, your internet grandpa.